With iOS 8, Apple has opened up its mobile software, installing big friendly gates in its famous walled garden. But why would Apple do this now? Adventures in Tech investigates Apple's master plan. Since its creation in 2007, iOS hasn't really changed much. Sure, it evolved visually and got new apps, but the way you interact with the software, getting things done by opening one app at a time, has remained the same. That all changes now, however, because with iOS 8, Apple is tearing up the very fabric of its operating system. Until now, apps for iOS have been unable to talk to each other. A new tool for developers called Extensions, however, will let apps pop up inside other apps so you can share to more places, mess around with documents, or use non-Apple editing tools from inside the Photos app. More striking is the power to install third-party keyboards, letting iOS customers use something Apple didn't even make as the primary way of interacting with their gadgets. With iOS becoming more open and interconnected, it feels like Apple is suddenly much more relaxed. Which is weird. This iPhone is terrible. It doesn't make calls, the battery stopped charging. I don't know how. Up to this point though, Apple's strict closed approach has made it obscenely rich. So why would it go all chilled out now? The truth is, iOS 8 lays the groundwork for Apple to take even more control. Apple has spent the last decade making mountains of cash from mobile gadgets, but lately smartphones and tablets are starting to feel a bit stale across the board. Apple needs to think beyond hardware.
So as we see the smartphone market mature and handset fatigue really set in, we start to see software overtake hardware as the reason to buy a device. So if iOS 8 really delivers a great core experience, the extension of that will really make Apple's products the must-have ones moving forward.
Extending iOS is exactly what Apple has planned, and in revealing iOS 8, it left a few clues as to where it's headed next. For instance, check out HomeKit, Apple's new home automation platform that connects the bevy of high-tech household gadgets already in existence, making it theoretically possible to control your lights, doors, and home appliances using Siri. Meanwhile, Apple's HealthKit channels data from different health accessories into one Apple-made app. If you use an iPhone, then Apple already controls the way you do email or messages. The new, more open and interlinking software that iOS 8 introduces will spread that control to whole new areas, ultimately giving Apple more power.
Having that power over the consumer to be that hub in their life, over all the aspects of your home, turning on the lights, being able to have a health tracking system where you and your family can track one another's progress, being that gatekeeper to all of that information, only deeper ties you into the Apple ecosystem.
It's Apple's digital world that gives it real strength. Apple knows that if it can stretch its ecosystem to things like cars, home, and health, it also expands the reasons to buy its hardware. Then, of course, there's the delicious information that hardware generates.
All the amount of data that they can gather from that consumer is invaluable. So being a technological gatekeeper to the key things in one's home allows them to build up a picture of a person to better serve new products, to better serve advertisers, and that data is the key.
The wider its ecosystem, the more money Apple can make, and the more valuable data it collects. Though we do hope it doesn't use this irresponsibly in the future.
Luke Westaway, your home tells us you spent the weekend in your underwear eating cereal straight from the box. It's time for you to invest in a bowl.
And trousers! Get down to Barry's Trouser Warehouse. 5,000 square feet of trousers.
At first blush, iOS 8 may look like a new open Apple, but in fact the new systems it puts in place are a play for even more control, and this time over much more than just your smartphone. What do you think Apple's master plan is, and are you looking forward to iOS 8? Let me know and check back next time for another adventure in tech.